What a day that was, huh? Man, I tell you what. Honestly, yesterday's video was really fun to make. And I will admit after yesterday, a couple of my top 11 picks have now officially become dated. But you know what? It was still a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm really glad that, we now have 6 wildcard games instead of just, come to think of it, I think we always, instead of, 4. Honestly, I'm really excited. I really am. I think this was absolutely what the NFL needed. It was a lot of fun watching the games yesterday. First of all, happy Sunday, everyone. Let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. I guess my low is the day just ended. But you know what? It's okay. Honestly, all good things must come to an end, and just so happened that yesterday came to an end. But that's fine. Let's see, my high would be, what would my high be? Obviously watching football, which was awesome. As well as watching a new show on Netflix I can't wait to talk about today. And my act of kindness was, I actually held the door for someone on my way to going to church yesterday. I'm actually going to church later this morning, but that's beside the point. So, I think we better go over my NFL picks. I already know I got one game right and one game wrong, so hold on. That's embarrassing. So let me, so the 1-1 at the bottom, that, 1-1, that's the results of yesterday. So there we go. Now let's make if my math is correct, my 272nd, 273rd, and 274th NFL pick, shall we? Let's see, NFL schedule. I know the Bills play the Broncos at 1, and the Packers and the Eagles, and then the Commanders and the Buccaneers. Well, you know what? I'm picking the Bills. I'm picking the Packers. Eagles. Bills, Eagles, and Commanders. Yeah, Bills, Eagles, and Commanders. Those are my picks for today. Seems rather anticlimactic. That's okay, because there's one thing I definitely want to talk about, and that's my new favorite show that's on Netflix. So, actually, hold on. There's one thing I gotta do. A list of things to do in 2025. I need to add something to my list of things to do. Oh, hold on. Okay. I added something I watched yesterday to my list of things to do in 2025 because, honestly, of the things I'm looking forward to in 2025, this was the first major thing I was looking forward to most. I talked about this in my live vlog on Facebook last night, but there's a new anime on Netflix called Sakamoto Days. Yeah, some of you guys that were probably watching this like, yeah, you're talking about Sakamoto Days, awesome. It's really awesome. Now, obviously, if you're not an anime and manga, you're probably going to lose interest right away. But if you hear this out, maybe I might sway you. Probably not, but it's worth a try. So, the most simple way I could describe Sakamoto Days, and keep in mind, I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible. Imagine John Wick, legendary assassin, who retires because he falls in love, gets married, has a child, and now is running a convenience store. And he has a dad bod. That's what Sakamoto Days is. And, well, I first heard about it coming from actually a Classic Man D. Shout out to Classic Man D. And, I mean, he described it much better than I could. And because he's a much better editor than I am, and he actually edits his stuff and I don't, he did a better job explaining what it is. But I knew I wanted to watch it right away. Like, I think it might have been like, shoot. The first time I saw it was I saw Classic Man D talk about it was probably at least September of last year. So I've known about Sakamoto Days coming out for quite a while. Maybe even earlier than that. Holy cow. But I saw the action sequences in the trailer looked great. And man, everything about this show just screams like it'd be right up my alley. And it absolutely is. Not to mention, the cast of characters is actually quite likable. I mean, here's the thing. I mentioned the fact that Taro Sakamoto, that's the name, has a dad bod. And given the character design, it'd be easy for someone out of context to take one look at him and be like, oh, he just looks like some big doofy, oaf who used to be an assassin. No. That is entirely not true. Because, for one thing, he is very much soft-spoken. He is a man of few words. Kind of like, I mentioned John Wick, but also kind of a man with no name kind of vibe. Like, very soft-spoken, very quiet. He doesn't say much, but he doesn't need to. He sort of like sees what's going on around him and speaks when he needs to. Like a really good protagonist does. That's also incredibly badass. And the other thing is, apparently the cops don't let me talk about Sakamoto Days. A siren just drove by. Taro Sakamoto was known as the world's most legendary assassin. He can still do all of those things. Honestly, I think, hold on. And let me get my, hold on. Come on. Yeah, Yuto Suzuki, who's the author of the Sakamoto Days. He designed it that way, so it really is a don't judge a book by its cover premise. That's what I was trying to allude to. Because he can still do all the things that he did as an assassin, only instead of killing people, he actually does try and help people. Not just simply running a convenience store, but he'll do stuff like go and get meat buns for his family, or help someone trim hedges off of a tree, or, help a kid find his way home, I guess. Basically things to help out in the community. And I love the premise how his wife says, if you kill anyone, I will divorce you. And you know what? I find that funny. Speaking of funny, Taro Sakamoto is my favorite character. My runner-up, hands down, is Shin. Actually, hold on. I need to make sure right. So, I'll get to the voice acting. I'll get to the main character in a minute. But Shin Asakura, voiced by Dallas Liu in English. He's actually really, he used to be Sakamoto's protege. but he works at the convenience store because what happens in the first episode is there's a hit on Sakamoto because he left the organization without permission. And Shin says, listen, he wants to live a simple life. Let me die so you save him. But here's the thing though. Shin is actually a clairvoyant. Meaning he can read your thoughts if you're not careful. Which, I gotta give Yuto Suzuki a lot of credit. Because this is clairvoyance done properly. See, most people will read like shonen manga or watch anime, or they'll see like fight scenes in all other forms of fiction where the guy you're rooting for is fighting up against someone who can either see the future or read your mind or whatever that is. And they immediately think, oh no, like, that's like really powerful. It's only really powerful because no one ever figures out how to take something like that on. I mean, usually when you see someone win against someone with that kind of ability, it's usually they have to like clear your mind or, you know, hit him with an attack so incredibly powerful that even if you see it coming, there's nothing you can do to stop it. That's pretty much what happens here. Like, yeah, Shin is a clairvoyant. He can read your thoughts. But if you're better than him or tougher than he is, it's not going to do him any good. And I like how Suzuki worked that in there. And Dallas Liu played it so well. And another character I really like, Liu Xiaotang. Liu Xiaotang, played by Rosalie Chiang. Rosalie Chang or Chiang? I'm sorry, I probably got that name so wrong. And I'm really sorry because in terms of voiceover work, Rosalie has a bit of a pedigree. I made that rhyme. Because she played the main character of Mei Lin in Turning Red. Yeah, a Pixar actor is voicing a character in Sakamoto Days. And she's really good. She's airheaded, but she's also really smart and competent when she needs to be. And she doesn't like to fight, but but I think she does Tai Chi as her form of martial arts in this show. Yeah, it's a mixture of Tai Chi and the Drunken Fist, which if you've ever seen The Drunken Master, you get the idea of what that is. But again, my favorite character in the show, hands down, is the man himself. The world's most legendary assassin, Taro Sakamoto, voiced by Matthew Mercer. Yes! If you don't know who Matthew Mercer is, for starters, he's known for playing Trafalgar Law in One Piece. But also, if you've ever seen Critical Role, he's the Dungeon Master. Like, if you don't know, I talk about that more in depth in my videos about Vox Machina. But Matthew Mercer started out as a guy who literally did a Super Smash Brothers series on YouTube, and he was voicing a lot of the characters just because, that's what he did back then. But as soon as he got noticed, he's legit living his best life, doing what he loves doing most. This guy is a voiceover this guy does what he does, and he's a fan. He's a fan of voiceover work, and what we have here is a great example of doing something by a fan for the fans. Matthew Mercer plays this role phenomenally. Oh my God. I mean, it's a little Trafalgar Law-esque, it is, but I mean that in the best possible way. Soft-spoken, but tough, and very likable as well. And not to mention, I mentioned that Sakamoto as a character is definitely don't judge a book by its cover motif. And like any great assassin would, he can literally take anything around him and turn it into a weapon. There's one part in the first episode where Shin volunteers to kill Sakamoto because if he doesn't, somebody else is going to anyway. That's going to happen. And he literally tries shooting a bullet at Sakamoto. And Sakamoto just spits a piece of candy, a piece of hard candy, and redirects the bullet. He literally beats a fairly competent assassin in his own right by literally just using what he has around him in a convenience store. Like pieces of candy or like chocolate and stuff. This show definitely takes advantage of the fact that it is an action comedy and an anime, and it makes for really fun, very interesting fight sequences. Kind of like what you see in Kung Fu Panda, actually. Like, the fight scenes in this show are really fun to watch. I mean, I can barely think of anything I dislike about this show. I mean, I guess, keep in mind, I haven't read the manga yet. I'm going to check out the anime as it comes out weekly. It looks like it's pretty faithful to the manga so far, though, from what I've heard and seen. Is someone's going to figure out that the only reason why Sakamoto doesn't kill anyone is because his wife will divorce him if he does. I'm sure some villain who's crafty enough is going to find a way to kidnap his wife and child. And the only way Sakamoto is going to save him is if he kills that person. That's really the only problem I have. And, you know, Sakamoto is going to have to make the ultimate choice. Does he kill that guy and have his wife divorce him? Or does he let his wife die? We don't know. I mean, it definitely raises a lot of questions. But honestly, it's only been 2 episodes that are released so far. I think we can, save off on crazy speculation for later. So yeah, this is a great show, great cast of characters, great voiceover cast from what I've seen so far. The premise is a whole lot of fun. The action sequences are great. The comedy in this is very, very, very funny. Again, I mean, if you're not into anime and manga, I get it. A lot of people aren't. It's not your thing. That's okay then. But I tell you what, if you give this show a chance, you're going to be in for a real treat. And a wild ride. It's going to release a new episode on Netflix every Saturday. And man, I gotta tell you, as someone who grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons as a kid, there's just something so awesome about watching an anime as a 35-year-old, on a Saturday morning as a 35-year-old man. It's just so awesome to do such a thing again. I mean, yeah, it's Netflix, and, thanks to the power of the internet, we can watch all those old shows whenever we want to. But Friday night and Saturday morning, that's the sweet spot to watch cartoons. For me, anyway. But again, I grew up watching Cartoon Fridays on Cartoon Network and Toonami and, Nicktoons on Nickelodeon and, Disney Afternoon. I could keep going. Fox Kids, that's another one. Kids WB. I could keep going with this all day in terms of how much I love cartoons and anime. Even though technically an anime is a cartoon. Yes, an anime is a cartoon. Okay? It's the people. That's actually one pet peeve I have about people say Avatar: The Last Airbender is not an anime. No, it's not an anime. Because it's Western animation that was made inspired by anime. It's only anime if it's made in Japan. So, I can't believe in 2025 we need to clear up that discrepancy. But man, I love this show. I can't wait to see more of it. I can't wait to see where they take it. And honestly, it's a good thing I'm going to church again. Because here's the thing. This show is also extremely vulgar and extremely violent. There is some harsh violence and coarse language spoken in this show. If that's not your thing, I most definitely get it. You know, you definitely need to be if you're a kid, you probably should be watching this with an adult. I'll say that much. But I'm 35 years old. I am an adult. I hope you like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I'm very homemade this video for all of you guys who are watching Joe video. If you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Oh, did I say happy Sunday? Happy Sunday, folks. And remember, if you guys want to talk, Jim, always be here to lend you, always be back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.